Thank you, Mr. President and members. I am glad to bring before you House File 2400, which is Senate File 7. This is our omnibus education, finance, and policy bill. A couple major highlights for you. This bill fully funds our current commitments, and it makes generous new commitments for the upcoming school years. If enacted, Senate File 7 will be the largest education spending bill in Minnesota history. Senate File 7 will spend a total of $19.78 billion. That is with a B, folks, $1 billion, $19.78 billion in fiscal years 20 and 21. And that covers your next two school years, the 1920 school year and the 2021 school year. There is nearly $940 million of increased spending over our current biennium's spending for education. That is a 5.1% increase in education funding. As you know, the Senate Education Committee is focused on students, and we fund what works. I'll highlight three of the top priorities for you. The largest funding portion of this bill is in the per pupil funding. That is an additional $93 million in the per pupil funding formula. We also know that safe and secure schools are our top priority. Students who enter our schools need to know that they are entering a safe space. Every parent needs to know that when their child goes to school, they are entering a building that is safe and secure. This bill focuses $75 million new money on safe and secure schools. Particularly, there is a new aid called Safe School Revenue. Safe School Revenue provides funding for every student, regardless of zip code, so that schools can have the ability to make those school buildings more safe, more secure. They could be things like single point entry. They could be things like bulletproof glass. All of those things that can make our school buildings safer. But that is not enough. Safe Schools Revenue also funds those very people who work inside of our schools, who can help protect our students and our children. Safe Schools Aid can fund counselors, social workers, psychologists, school resource officers, all of those people who can help keep our schools safe and secure. Most importantly, Safe Schools Aid is locally determined in its allowed uses. There are allowed uses in law for safe schools that include both the hard and the soft funding for the important people funding. We also allow safe schools money to be used to pay interest on bonds that may have been let for school safety features. That is a new use. Also, there is $5 million of mental health funding in this bill. This is school-linked mental health that has been highly effective. I'm sure you've talked to your teachers, your counselors, and parents. I have in my districts who have talked about how important this is. There's $5 million for our schools in school-linked mental health. Those of you that were in the Education Committee will recall when we talked about the staggering, sobering statistics regarding our school children and the recent survey that showed the numbers, the increasing numbers of our students both at the secondary, the middle school, and the elementary levels who had seriously considered suicide. This is a staggering statistic, and we must do all that we can to prevent suicide by our children. This bill funds suicide prevention training for our teachers. It has shown to be effective, and other states are also modeling this funding mechanism. So those are some of the safe school funding pieces in our bill. In addition, one of our largest investments in our children is in our youngest learners. This bill funds those 4,000 voluntary preschool, I hate to say it, they call them slots. I do not think children are slots, but they call them seats. They are funding 4,000 voluntary preschool seats. And members, that funding is going away. That funding for those children in those 80 districts is set to expire. We are not going to let that happen in the Minnesota Senate. We know all too clearly, and research shows us, that if we want our children to be successful, to be those workers that our economy needs, to be those successful adults who participate in our communities and fill the jobs and good jobs, we need to make sure that those kids start with a good education. And let me tell you, it's quite different than when I was teaching. What our kids are doing in kindergarten right now is what we were teaching in first grade when I was teaching. We are expecting a lot of our youngest learners, and they are up to the task. They are up to the opportunity if we give that to them. This bill makes sure that those same preschool positions, those same number of funding mechanisms for those same number of students is available. And most importantly, this bill targets those resources, those early learning scholarships, to children who would not otherwise have an opportunity for a high-quality preschool that prepares them for kindergarten. Our mechanism not only targets the funding to those who need it, it also provides parent choice. Now, parents may very well choose to use those early learning scholarships at the voluntary pre-K site that is in existence today. They can do that. Our bill also allows them to choose to use those early learning scholarships in a center, at a family child care, or a church child care, as long as that child care setting is preparing our children to be ready for kindergarten. That is the model that has been dubbed the Minnesota model. The late former Senator Benson started this initiative called the MELF model, the Minnesota Early Learning Foundation. Since, you've seen great advocates such as Art Rolnick talk about how important this provision is, because it works. It has great return on investment. And in fact, it's been dubbed the Minnesota model. And states all over the nation are looking at what we have been doing with early learning scholarships. That's what this Senate bill does. It protects those 4,000 voluntary pre-K slots or seats so that parents now have the opportunity to make sure that students are that funding is available for students to get those scholarships. In addition, this bill focuses on School innovations and options. Funding is important, but funding alone is not the answer. Our bill focuses on the flexible learning year, allowing school districts, rather than the commissioner up here in St. Paul, to tell our school districts how best to serve kids in a learning year. You know, some schools are doing the 45-15 model. Highly successful, particularly with our ELL kids, particularly with those students learning English as a secondary language. Flexible learning year, you might recall a few years ago we had a number of districts up in sparsely populated areas of the state in the north that were being socked with unbelievable heating bills, and they had large distances to transfer kids from home to school. You might recall that they wanted to have a 4-day learning week, and yet the commissioner denied that. We believe in local control. I believe in local control, and I believe that your local school districts and mine can best determine how that calendar should best fit the needs of their students to make sure their students continue to meet all of the standards and expectations that we have of them. This bill also allows a school or a school district to do a competency-based education plan. Those of you that are involved in education have been talking about this forever. Instead of just requiring seat time, you sit in your seat for so many days, for so many hours, and you move on. That's called seat time. The rest of the world left that decades ago. This bill allows school districts to develop a competency-based learning plan, which allows children to move according to their competencies. Some will be done earlier, some may take longer, as long as the student mastery of state standards is met, regardless of time spent. There's innovation that allows our schools to put their good surplus school computers, including tablet devices, to use. Those surplus ones can be sold or gifted to qualifying students without violating contract and bidding requirements. A number of you asked about transferring community education funds to the general fund. I think we heard 2 or 3 bills about that, particularly for a capital account. This allows your school districts to transfer those community education funds to the general fund. That would be for a building construction fund primarily, if it's intended for community education purposes. Again, innovations and flexibility for our schools. We also, in this bill, make post-secondary enrollment options work better for our students. We also look at making our statewide testing work better for students. On the latter, we have encouraged the school testing to be scheduled as late in the school year as possible, so that our students have the full effect of the entire school year for learning. The results must be disseminated to parents and teachers within 30 days. Post-secondary enrollment options, you've heard me talk about this before. I know that you are well aware that allowing high school students to take options at their community college, college credit, and high school credit at the same time not only saves students time, dollars, we know that they graduate with higher GPAs, higher graduation rates in our high schools, higher graduation rates in college, more degree completion, and lower student debt. What's not to like about that equation? We want to make sure that our PSEO students are given information prior to their scheduling of high school classes. This provides that information earlier to them in the school year so they know what those options are regarding PSEO, and they can work their schedule as they so wish. And just a note, PSEO has shown to increase by double digits in many cases graduation rates of our students of various ethnic backgrounds. So again, it is a way to close the achievement gap. We also provide transportation for those PSEO kids who qualify for free and reduced lunch. We also make some innovations, allowing online higher education courses to be offered to PSEO students just as they are offered to other students. We allow 10th grade students, non-public students in college-level CTE courses. We modernize our instruction delivery. We do this by allowing shared time pupils to take online courses at any suitable location. Can you believe our current law says they have to go to a particular school site to take an online course? Seems a little ridiculous in this day and age. I want to tell you about something that I think is really exciting, and that is an opportunity for all of our students across this entire state to receive excellent music instruction. The McPhail Center for Music has been taking music courses, music via the internet digitally to students all across this state. These students benefit from having instrumental instruction, music instruction, from some of the top music educators in the state. I have seen these kids and how they are learning from the very best of the best through that digital screen. They have had great success in tutoring young kids in instrumental music digitally through to the point where they have several students who are now in the All-State Band. As you know, that is the premier band of the top music students in this state. They compete all over the state. They take the best of the best, and that is the band. So McPhail Center for Music is reaching every corner of our state. We provide a small grant for them. We also know that the Minnesota Partnership for Collaborative Curriculum is another innovative idea. We want our teachers to take those great lessons that they have put together that meet the standards, and if they choose to, we have a platform where they can put those lessons online, be recognized as such, and we have a continual feedback loop for that. Again, we want the best things that our teachers do that they would like to share. We want to provide them a platform to share those and make sure that they are searchable by the standards that they teach. We also allow schools to get their full amount of internet access aid even if they don't belong to a telecommunications cluster. Have you heard of that? That's another thing from the past. When the internet first came out, we said that, well, schools, if you belong to this thing called a telecom internet cluster, we're going to pay more of your students' online costs for your students' online access. Well, we found out that, the market has gotten to the point where the telecommunications clusters aren't necessary anymore. The market rates have driven it often below what those telecommunication clusters were. We are innovating that way. A provision important to many of you is the Teachers of Color Act. You will recall in 2017, it was this body that first brought forward the Teachers of Color Act. That was innovative, necessary, and I believe that we have had successes already. We are strengthening the 2007 Teachers of Color Act. We expand the grant recipients for those concurrent enrollment courses so that there is an introduction of teaching available. If we want to have more teachers of color in the classroom, we need to make sure that there are teacher preparation courses available to our high school students who are taking the PSEO options. There was none of that before the 2017 Teachers of Color Act. We are funding grants to encourage recruiting efforts to recruit students of color into these concurrent enrollment courses. I believe it's a win-win. The students of color win, they become teachers of color and can impact more students. We also continue the Grow Your Own. That is where we assist schools in helping their paraprofessionals move from paraprofessionals to pathways to full teacher licensure. Often those are paraprofessionals of color. I've already met with some paraprofessionals who are moving through teacher licensure because of the Grow Your Own grants that we initiated in 2017. We also know that alternative teacher prep is also known for producing larger numbers of teachers of color. We are funding this year, Teach for America with $1 million in this biennium. They're recognized for recruiting and preparing a more diverse teaching workforce. We are also funding the Santa Foundation, which is providing $1 million a year to tutors who go into high-risk schools, work with many students of color, and most importantly, many of those tutors that go in and work with those students of color are also tutors of color who work with the students of color, and many of them, we have found, are also going on to become teachers of color. But perhaps the most important thing, if you're interested in increasing teachers of color, let me tell you about what's not in this bill. What is not in this bill is Senate File 1557, which undid the Teachers of Color avenue called the Tier 1. Tier 1 is where most of our teachers of color enter the teaching profession. That bill would have struck that option from our teachers. That option is creating significant new pathways for teachers of color. You will be glad that is not in the bill before you. We focus on student knowledge and opportunities. You will note that we add the word civics, something much needed. We add civics to the 3.5 social studies credits that our students already have to earn. And did you know that our students must take the 50-question citizenship test? That's good, but we don't know how they're doing. We are requesting that we get a % of our students that are earning at least 60% on the, or 30 out of 50, 60% on the civics test. We are allowing, I'm surprised we have to put this in law, but it's been my experience too, the Armed Forces career options as part of the post-secondary planning, permitting recruiters the same access to high schools as other employers. I thank Senator Goggin for bringing this forward. I know you'd think we don't need to, but I was a volunteer in a guidance office, and I couldn't believe it. We could not have armed forces recruiters visit the high school. I'm sure that will change, or has already. We also know that we're adding construction careers to the career planning pathway. We are desperate. We have a workforce crisis, particularly with in the construction careers. We are adding that to the career pathway. We are encouraging the Commissioner of Education and Labor, both of them, to develop student career counseling in areas of construction and skilled trades. We are increasing funding for agriculture educators. Imagine that. We want those agriculture educators to be available when the crops are growing. We also increase funding for vocational enrichment grant to support instruction that is taking place outside the regular school day. These provisions are from Senator Dames and Senator Rosen. We also direct the Commissioner of Education to develop a cursive handwriting skills curriculum and instructional materials. It's hard to believe, but some students are not learning cursive. I don't know how they would read our founding documents. Focusing on what works, we are extending reading and math core to our BIE, our Indian schools. You've heard about Reading Corps, highly successful in reading instruction, reading tutoring, again, a Minnesota model being copied in other states. Most significantly, Their study has shown that similar kids getting reading intervention and those getting reading intervention decreased special education costs, saving the state $9 million, but most importantly, putting those kids on a great path to a great education and a future. Senator Anderson is supporting the Math Corps, which is similar, and Senator Eichhorn's bill is supporting increasing Reading Corps to our BIE schools. I thank them for bringing that. Focusing on students, we know 1 out of 5 students in our schools has dyslexia. And we have specific requirements in this bill to make sure that teacher preparation programs are including dyslexia awareness as a requirement, and also as a requirement for certain teacher licensure renewals. If we are going to be serious about getting all our kids to be literate and read, we need to make sure that our teachers are prepared in working with dyslexic kids. One of my brightest tutors a couple years ago, he came into my office, he was great, he wrote something for me, and he brought it to me, and I said, I won't use his name, but I said, you know, this is the best writing that I have seen around here. This is ready to go. It's awesome. And I said, you must have had a great teacher somewhere along the line. And he just looked at me, and he said, Senator Nelson, you can thank the Reading Center. That's the center in Rochester that works with dyslexic kids. So let's focus on making sure that our teachers are prepared. We also have some startup grants for P-TECH Pathways in Technology Early College High, consisting of that wonderful voluntary partnership between a public high school, a community college, and an industry partner that comes in besides and is a part of that partnership, training with internships, mentorships, apprenticeships, workforce training, work skills training, on-the-job training for those students. It involves competency-based education where these students can actually graduate with their high school degree, an industry credential, an AA degree, and go on to be first in line for jobs at those industries. Interestingly enough, started out with just a few high schools. Now there's about 200 of them in the state. They are a school within a school, and the ones that I've seen, some of them are 100% students of color. Again, innovations for our students. We have education partnerships, which have been working very well in this state. We continue to fund those. Those are nonprofits working with students and families outside of the regular school day. We make sure that our legacy institutions, NAS and St. Paul Promise Neighborhood, continue to get funding over the next biennium. We also have new sites. That's what we do. We find things that work, we continue them on to other sites. We have recently approved sites that are also getting funding each year. Northfield, Red Wing, St. Cloud, Austin, and Rochester. Now, we had a big, long debate on this floor a long debate a couple years ago. We talked about the Teacher Code of Ethics. That's currently in Minnesota rule. We are codifying that language. We're adding it to ensure non-discriminatory education on the basis of, there's just 2 additions, political, ideological, or religious beliefs, and then as well to clearly prohibit sexual conduct with a student. And Pellsby Board must establish a process for written complaints. We have improvements in special education procedures. You've heard a lot about that. Removing excess paperwork that was non-controversial, but we believe will give teachers more time to spend with their students instead of filling out paperwork. I was a special education teacher way back in the time when we filled out IEPs by hand. You would think in this day and age when most of those IEPs are filled out on computers, there would be not as much time driven, but that is not true. Special ed teachers are spending about 20% of their time with paperwork instead of with students. I mentioned those early learning scholarships. We're going to preserve those early learning opportunities that are set to expire. We also add some strength to those early learning scholarships, saying that providers who have been disqualified from the state child care assistance program would not be eligible for learning scholarship programs. There's a few things you will not find in this bill, members. You can look hard and long, but you will see that this bill does not rely upon increased taxes, either at the state level, nor does it increase property taxes through any additional levies. Members, this bill does not include any unfunded or controversial mandates that were opposed in committee by the Minnesota Association of School Boards. There is one provision, it's a levy-related provision, but it is neutral in cost. It is just making it very clear to our voters that a referendum is voter approved, and it moves the local option revenue and the referendum revenue combined to show that those are board approved and a referendum revenue is approved by the taxpayers. There's no net increase in levies. There's no net increase or loss to our school districts in that. It's just a simplification measure. This is also in Governor Walz's bill as well. So there's a lot of good things in this bill, members. We've kept out the controversial provisions. We're focused on students. We fund what works. And there's a significant number. I'm hoping that the authors whose bills are included, I hope you take a moment to stand up and talk about those important provisions. Thank you, Mr. Chair, or Mr. President. I will stand for questions.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll open with a brief poem. Roses are red, violets are blue. Half and half is good for coffee, but it's bittersweet for schools. Students deserve 3 and 2. For those that are following the formula and the discussion over the past 3 months, the bottom line is there is not enough money in this proposal to adequately fund schools. Senator Nelson, in her opening comments, referenced this fully funds schools. In fact, it's a generous commitment. I'll comment more on that later as to what school districts, what parents, and others are telling us. They disagree. I'd like to focus, though, now on many positive things, and I want to commend Senator Nelson for the strong statement for safe schools, strong bipartisan support as to what we can do to provide for flexibility at the local level, for them to invest further in security, whether it's in buildings or additional staff, whether it be counselors, social workers, nurses, others that can help for student safety and staff safety. And safe schools also means addressing lead testing and information to parents. It means addressing radon testing with perhaps some potential we could address that further. There's also a provision included, which I authored and worked with Senator Chamberlain and Senator Isaacson on, for hazardous emission information. If there has been notice in an area of hazardous emissions from the PCA or the Minnesota Department of Health, if there is a school that has been impacted, parents, students, and staff will have a right to know. This is a huge issue in the White Bear Lake area, where there are hundreds of people going to community meetings to see whether 1,000 tons of TCE, trichloroethylene, could have impacted students and others within a 1.5 mile area. It's serious, and it could happen into any of our districts. So thanks for including these needed provisions. Safe schools. Learning is compromised if we don't feel safe. There are several provisions that I compliment the chair and others for including. I'll mention 9 more and could go on. But next would be kindergarten assessment. Bipartisan support. I worked with Senator Ralph actually on a proposal that would have some measurements as to how students are doing entering K. The first benchmark we have for world's best workforce and our accountability system is for students to be ready. We have invested a great deal in high-quality early education programs, but we don't necessarily have a way of tracking where they are once they are in kindergarten. I appreciate the support that the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce, the Minnesota Business Partnership, and others have for this provision. It's needed. And by the way, the majority of states have a provision like this. It's time we do it. I applaud the provision for smarter testing. Parents, students, teachers, they need to get timely information on results, and this will help accomplish that. Bravo for the additional investment for post-secondary education options. This will provide even more opportunities for students throughout the state. Thousands of students have benefited, and many additional students will as well. And I'd like to thank Joe Nathan, the Center for School Change, and all the students that came and testified for that. You've made a big impact for education. Competency-based education, Senator Nelson mentioned, and appreciate what the group Education Evolving has worked on. The key is working with teachers. I was so energized to see teachers in Chaska, in Farmington, and in White Bear Lake showing how they had worked in developing a program that could go beyond just looking at basing results on seat time, but giving needed flexibility. But teacher involvement, I so much remember the football coach in Farmington and his enthusiasm and renewed enthusiasm by teachers and others, and particularly students that met with us. Special education. We'll have a little bit more about the lack of funding, but we did address paperwork. And I believe there's 3 provisions in there. Bipartisan support to Senator Pratt, Senator Clausen, and others that worked on this during the interim. And there will be some additional measures taken to reduce paperwork. So much needed. The program pathway opportunities, there's many great additional measures. The music education, reference to the McPhail program, that is also included in White Bear Lake, and we appreciate that, but being able to expand that is a great thing. For the trades, the construction area, the military, providing different opportunities. There's agricultural grants in there as well. Very good thing. Provide different options for students as they search for their career. A program I authored, Race to Reduce. It's a water conservation program, and additional funds are provided to help develop curriculum on water conservation, and it would be very replicable for other districts interested in Minnesota, and they have expressed such interest. The Sané Foundation, I'm very impressed with the leaders of that and what they have made for progress, and so thank you for including that. Other provisions are included, but and I do want to mention the cursive writing. It was fun to see Senator Rest, who also used to be a teacher, and she showed that with passion in making the plea for cursive writing and the educational benefits. And there is a directive to the Department of Education to come up with some guidance for districts in having exemplary programs. It's proven it can have an impact. There are more, but I commend Senator Nelson for these and others. These will do a lot of good. And there are items that were controversial that aren't here. Not that there are some controversy, we'll have some discussion, but for the most part it wasn't. whether it's on pre-Labor Day or various aggregated data. Sex education, I don't believe is in here, but we've been getting a lot of emails on it. I don't believe that's a part of the discussion today. So, progress on various items that are included, but the fundamental concern that we have is that there is not enough revenue. I have a handout from the Association of Metropolitan School Districts. It includes your metro districts and also St. Cloud and Rochester. And I'll also be sharing some information from rural schools where the impact is even more significant. But on the claim that we are adding $940 million for the increase, well, let's say semantically, for argument, that's true. The key, what districts are looking at, what parents and others that are going through budget cuts, is additional increase in per pupil unit spending, the additional per pupil unit. Most of this $940 million is going to be in special education, where the costs continue to rise, particularly with the lack of federal help and not enough being done at the state level. There's also 27,000 additional students in the system. We need to pay for that. Other items are mentioned in the Association of Metro School District, and it references, the story behind that number. It's complex, albeit esoteric in terms of how it might be understood in messaging. But the bottom line is it's not new additional money for the per pupil unit. And that is why many school districts across the state are in a funk that half and half is going to lead to cuts. Half and half is $31 the first year, the biennium, $32 the second. Governor Walz in the House, they're advocating $141 and $380 the first and second year. That's 5 times more. Rounding off, $90 million in this proposal, which will lead to cuts, or $500 million as proposed by Governor Walz. You can do significantly more to prepare for the world's best workforce and other objectives that we are asking school districts to achieve by providing needed resources. So I would respectfully submit this does not fully fund schools. It is not a generous commitment. The number one concern by many districts, in addition to formula, is special education. We all support the idea passed by Congress in 1975 that all students have a right and appropriate free education. They made a commitment of 40% at the federal level. And approximately 13% of students are in such programs. And the districts have to pay, and they should, with the assumption there's going to be that help. But what's happened in districts, metro and rural, is there's a cross-subsidy from programs in general education that has funds going to underwrite special ed. If we had the commitment that had been pledged, we would have an additional $820 per student unit, but it's only going to get closer to $900 per student. And just talk to your superintendents, your school board members, and ask them, is there an impact of cross-subsidy? Members, there is no additional new money on special education addressing the cross-subsidy. The Governor Walz calls for $47 million, for $90.7 million in the biennium to address at least a freeze on this. If we don't do this, additional money will be siphoned for programs that could be helping others needed. I'm going to just give a few examples of how it's going to impact districts, because the message has been that we're going to fully fund schools. We aren't, and that it's not generous. The largest school district, I believe, in Minnesota is the Anoka-Hennepin district. At a half and half, in 2020, they will be cutting $8.5 million. In fiscal year 21, on what you're voting on, they will cut $16.7 million. A few other districts, Burnsville, approximately $8.5 million will be cut. Approximately $6 million in the second year. Elk River, I believe, has the largest cut that's reported. What they have said, approximately $11 million in 2020 and over $6 million in fiscal year 21. I could go on in terms of Stillwater, White Bear Lake, part of my own district. It's millions of dollars. And I've mentioned some of the metro districts, but I'd like to also let you know this impacts rural. Perhaps it's even tougher with a smaller budget. One of the joys, actually, and the honor of being a state legislator is you work with your district, but you get to meet people throughout the state. And last week, I had 5 or so superintendents visit from South Central Minnesota. And they followed up with a letter, and I'm going to just read a couple of points. But the superintendents that visited me were Jerry Jensen, the Blue Earth Area Schools, Mandy Fletcher, Granada Huntley East Chain Schools, Jeff Bertrang, New Ulm Schools, John Seslowski, Sleepy Eye, and Keith Fleming from United South Central. A few points. Funding. This is from the superintendents of these rural districts. A 5.5 and 0.5% increase on the formula each year, and they both face, will force schools to make major cuts to programs and services to students. To many of us who depend on local taxpayers to support schools through operating levies because the state isn't stepping up to honor its commitment, a 3 and 2% increase on the formula will help schools to maintain programming. We do have to deal with inflation on special education. These costs continue to increase each year. We are forced to offset them with general fund dollars, cross subsidies, because we don't get required funding from the state or federal government. Without additional funds, we continue to go backwards for all programs in order to pay for special education program costs. All of us strongly support, by the way, the early education. There's a lot of good that can be done in scholarships. But these superintendents, they were very concerned about the potential impact of this bill for voluntary pre-K. And this is what they said. Many of our districts depend on voluntary pre-K for our communities. Please continue to support this program for students. Without it, thousands of students will not have the same opportunities as those in other more affluent districts. Mr. President, members, I also handed out clippings, and you can look at what they say in different districts, including Winona or Faribault. This is not fake media. I just asked the Legislative Reference Library and some others put together, some clippings. What are they saying? I didn't hear about a record budget increase for education. I saw a lot of angst. And the headline, I believe, from Litchfield was that our hope is if we can get 3 and 2. So That's our plea, and I pledge to do whatever I can, because we will have a new target, a joint target within 100 hours, and then we'll have a week to figure it out. But this does not fully fund schools. It is not a generous commitment. It is inadequate.
Members were on House File 2400. I have Senator Nelson next, and then the order of folks that have gotten my attention so far: Senator Swedzinski, Abler, Bigham, Newton, Ralph, and if you continue to get my attention, and I'll continue to add you to the list. But next is Senator Nelson.
Well, thank you, Mr. President. And just a few corrections for the record. We always want to be correct. Let me restate my opening statement. This bill fully funds current commitments and makes generous new investments for the upcoming school year. If enacted, Senate File 7 would be the largest school funding law in Minnesota history. That is correct on every account. I want to make sure that I was not misquoted. There's some important documents on your desks, members, that I forgot to mention. The first thing I'd like you to see is the percent change in state aid per pupil, ADM, since 2003. We let the organizations that continue to say that we are not keeping pace with inflation, we let them choose their cherry-picked date of 2003, because that was the year that the state invested heavily in education and bought down all of the local property tax, school property tax levies. I want you to notice on this chart, because I am just so tired of hearing inaccurate facts. I want you to look at this chart, and you will see, starting in 2003 with that cherry-picked date, the lower line shows, or let's look at the top line. That's just the investments in education that are not inflation adjusted. Per pupil now, per pupil, increased by 48.7%. Well, let's see if it was adjusted according to inflation. You will see on the right side of your chart that we have increased funding per pupil 6.9% over the cost of inflation. So let's make sure we have some history there. Now let's look at the runs that are on your desk. I encourage you to look at those. Look at your school districts. Highlight them. You will see two sides on that run. The first run shows the effect of the general education revenue, that's the formula, and the second half shows the effect of safe schools. I don't know how anyone can stand in this chamber with a straight face and say we are cutting schools. You will not see cuts to funding in any school district in this state. So please, let's be clear on the facts. Now let's take a little history lesson here, folks. First, I'll give you some basics. When people talk about funding or general education funding or funding on the formula, yes, that is the gold standard, because I said is it treats all kids fairly, gives schools the most local control. But do you realize that's about half? That is half of the funding per pupil in our state. So I'm so tired of hearing people comparing just the per pupil funding and not understanding that, yes, there's another equal amount of money on the other side of that per pupil funding also. I've been tempted to prepare an amendment that puts all the funding on the per pupil formula. And maybe we'll continue to look at that at some point. But make sure you have all of the facts in front of you. Now let's talk about history. These omnibus bills, as they start out in a chamber, they look one way, they go to conference committee, they meet with the governor, and then different things happen. Let's take a look at 2009. 2009, this DFL Senate proposed 0 and 0 on the formula. That's correct. 0% and 0% on the formula increase. Some of you voted for that. I wasn't here then. And what's really sad about this example is that is exactly what happened. The final bill included 0% on the formula and 0% on the formula. And even with that disastrous funding year, you will see in the chart we looked at before that we still have managed to outpace inflation in funding for our schools. Well, let's look at something a little more current. In 2011, Governor Dayton proposed 0% increase on the formula. Fortunately, the final bill was not Governor Dayton's proposal. It was a 1% and 1% on the formula. In 2013, Governor Dayton proposed 1% on the formula and 0 in the second year. And the final bill included a 1.5% increase on the formula in the first year and 2% in the second. So let us take light of what has happened historically, and I am confident we will see similar things going forward. The comments regarding cuts are just inaccurate. They are wrong on their face, and our debate deserves better than that. The comments don't include the significant funding in school safety. But I know we'll have more comments, but I'm hoping to hear, I know you have other members who want to speak, and I certainly welcome the comments and the debate.